Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's early evening, I should say. I'm actually home right now, right? So today's weather, in your opinion, do you feel it was good weather, bad weather, normal weather, right? Because I could definitely tell you what the weather reports say about the weather. And it doesn't say anything fantastic, right? Just letting you know. Brief light showers earlier this morning, right? And overall, very little accumulated rainfall, right? And that's weird because it doesn't look like that in Georgetown. And earlier today, when I was in Georgetown this morning, of course I had to drive through the puddles of water and the streets that are kind of filled with water. And I took a video of that this morning and I put it up and I said, this is Georgetown in 2026. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I did not say that to attack the government. I said that because it's an obvious fact. Okay? Now, in my opinion, everybody in this country, we all like to blame people. Now, the government is in charge of certain circumstances. But what the government cannot control are personal actions. Okay? They can do it with certain policies, but they cannot control personal actions. All right? And before we even blame anybody, let's find out what those actions are, what the cause of the issue is before we start blaming everyone. Now, yes, do I accept the fact that the government has a certain degree of responsibility here? Damn straight, they do. But do I also acknowledge the fact that there are people working in all of these different areas for the government who applied for these jobs and they don't always do their jobs correctly, show up, or, carry it out? That's one of those issues that we face in Guyana, all right? We have a very lackadaisical approach to professionalism, and we also have a dirty way of doing work. If a contractor is doing work and, he's got this 10 feet here that he has to make nice, he may dirty everything around it or destroy everything around it to make that 10 feet look good. By the time he's done with that 10 feet, you now have another 10 on every single side that you have to fix. Right? And that's a challenge to a lot of contractors in Guyana, especially if you're working within the city limits or any area there, because there's tons and tons of congestion. There are all sorts of areas or issues that can come from that, right? And it requires consistent mitigation and attention. Let me say this again. It requires consistent attention, ladies and gentlemen. And the Guyanese attention span is very, very low. A lot of the people we have working in some of these offices, they don't give a shit. They show up for a job. Yeah, okay, good. I got to do it. But I'm going to take my time to do it. Why? Because I don't get paid enough. That's most of what everybody says, but I've also learned in this life that even if you pay somebody way more than they complain about receiving, they still do a shitty job. If you're a shitty staff, you're a shitty staff. But here's the problem. When we have shitty staff and we have people who are not consistent, professional, or diligent, it will make even God look bad. All right? Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the issues that we're facing with flooding in Georgetown are actually fairly simple to address. It requires consistency. Okay? You can't just clean the drain one day and think that you don't got to come back to it for 2 months. Not in a country where people have grown used to being lawless, nasty, and careless in their environments. That requires everyday consistency. It's like you're shitting every day of the week, but you're choosing to wipe your ass one day of the week. Your ass is going to be shitty. It's going to be clogged up. Worse yet, if you got a hairy ass looking like a strainer, everything is going to be all, it's going to be nasty. And that's what's happening. The place does get cleaned. But the consistency of trash, waste, litter, debris, and everything else that can cause blockages, that's every day. That's 24 hours a day. Okay? And even if the government is paying individuals to do the job 24 hours a day, the people who take on those contracts are not honoring it 24 hours a day. All right? Because before you get to the pump station where all the water needs to go in to get out, there are a whole bunch of other areas in between those that need to have consistent professional maintenance, especially at moments like this where we have so much national infrastructure projects happening. That is extra sand, material, debris that is being generated and moved around. Those are things getting into drains. Those are things people ain't paying attention, right? Those are things causing issues. Then on top of that, you have other issues where the same pedestrians who are going to be affected by the flooding choose to put their homes or choose to put their businesses or choose to expand some bullshit or take some parking spot, and they're blocking up drains and they're doing all sorts of stupid shit. And then when the place floods, the first thing everybody says, it's the government. No, people know. This morning when I did my video, I just was showing you there's a goddamn flood. I didn't tell you the government did it. I didn't tell you God did it. I didn't tell you Satan did it. I didn't tell you anything like it. But what I told you was the obvious fact, and that's that, for such minimal rainfall that we had this morning, to have those types of problems in key areas in town and a majority of town being affected, it's actually very clear to identify the problem, because there's other times when it rains and we don't have those problems. So the issue is dealing more with consistency, because we know the solution. We know where some of the choke points are. We know these things, but we don't have people consistently on those areas. Now, I would encourage and recommend to the government to contact NDIA, contact MNCC, contact the Ministry of Communities and all of the NDCs and communities that are affected within those choke zones that are major consistent areas of blockages, and you put teams there 24 hours a day, especially during rainy seasons or when we have heavy development going on. It's just a strategic move. And when you think about the savings that you would get by having that manpower in those areas consistently, it saves everyone in those other outlying areas that are affected by the flooding. And hence, you also keep the country looking good, and you protect the new infrastructure, and you keep the place clear so that the other infrastructure that's currently being developed can be developed. Now, I don't like to have to break it all down like this on social media. I hate having to do this because then it makes me feel like I'm talking to stupid fucking people. And I would hate to think that so many adults in this country are so fucking stupid that you have a consistent problem, but you don't keep a consistent solution in place. So I'm just hoping respectfully, not meaning no disrespect to anybody's authority or pride or anything like that, but those are consistent problems. Just get some people there and keep them consistently there. That way, nothing bad happens. And if you are hiring people and you have people who are already in charge of those areas and they are not exercising their due diligence to see that these are key points that you need to have consistent services, and they have not aligned their plan to cater for that, then it's either they're too stupid to be in those positions, or they're too smart and they're working systematically against the people of the country or against the government to create this type of mess. So you only have a couple options here as to why we still have flooding. It's either inconsistent or lack of professionalism, because systems are being put in place, money is being spent, billions and billions of dollars are being spent. I just do believe that the consistency, that's what Guyanese lack. We lack consistent. We start, we stop, we start, we stop, we start, we stop. We never start and just go all the way. is horrible. So it's either lack of consistency or sabotage. Or somebody damn well knows that if we block this area for a little bit, it's gonna create the problem. Now, let me also make a statement. What I noticed too is that the areas that are greatly affected tend to largely be Afro-Guyanese areas. Okay, I'm just going to point out some facts. But I do not believe that these things are being done from the government to affect Afro-Guyanese. In fact, I believe there is somebody out there trying to affect the quality and the lives of Afro-Guyanese in order to make them hostile toward this government. And that's why I'm saying this right now. Because there's somebody out there playing a set of wicked politics, and they're creating big problems over simple things. And they're affecting the people of Guyana. And I call upon the government to carry out thorough investigations and find all of these malicious individuals who are trying to undermine a government, and in the process of doing it, attacking and destroying the livelihoods of a whole bunch of other people who are innocent, hardworking individuals. Let us not blame each other. Let us cooperate and find the culprits. Too much. Some man are falling asleep, pump. Some people ain't showing up to work. Some people, the amount of excuses we have tolerated and unprofessional behavior that we have tolerated over the years in these critical areas is causing all sorts of unnecessary chaos and headache for the people. And what I notice is as soon as we put up something, listen man, I put up issues on Facebook and on social media because in my opinion, it's the fastest way to reach the government. Because if I write the letter to the president email, that motherfucker might not even want to talk to me. I'll never get the response until 2 or 3 weeks later. But you put it up here, somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to say, Scott, we got to do something. But I don't put it there to blame my government or blame my president or blame anybody else. I don't do that. Doesn't matter who gets the blame, me as one of the citizens and the rest of the people, we're still punishing through it. We don't need blame, we need solution. We need to find the areas of accountability, responsibility, and get the right people into those places. I don't care if they're black, Indian, purple, alien. I don't care if they're Spanish. I don't care if they're Chinese. Whatever the case is, just stop the place from flooding. Keep the pumps on. Keep the channels clear. Guyanese people complaining, we want work, we want work. Motherfuckers, here's a job that you could be doing around the clock. Where you can be useful. Talking about people just be like, we want work. People don't want work. They want to work their mouth. I'm as different jobs, everything the government don't make open. Putting it out there, hiring, looking for people. Well, if it's like young people to school and college for free right now, just so that we can get some trained, qualified people. But no matter how intelligent people are getting, they're failing to realize something very, very important. Doesn't matter how smart you are, a consistent man will beat you every day of the week. We lack consistency, Guyana. We lack it. You need to be consistent. Listen, we always sing in the song, not the blade of grass. How about we all behave like a blade of grass? If each of you were as determined as a blade of grass, there is almost nothing you can't do. I have seen a blade of grass bore through solid concrete just because of its will to survive, and that is a blade of grass, and we are dealing with a country full of human beings. How can a blade of grass be more productive than you? And it's the same people crying and blaming everybody. I seen it. The government this, the government that. Not just the government. The government, watch out what money the government spending. Who getting this money for drainage by? I'm so tired of seeing it. I got 1,001 things that I do. But you know what? Give me the job. I would get some people in those places. If you can't find nobody else by default, oh my God, oh my mama, oh. If you can't find nobody else, hire Mr. Snow for keep the drains clean and keep the city clean. I'll be your freaking trash man. I will be consistent about it. But pay me decently to do my job. I want them big money contract them. I seen people get them plenty contract. Nowhere walking doing a certain area. Everybody get the rich. They work still. That one thing. Muhammad Amal, I have no idea what the hell you talking about. Go back to America and get deported again? Well, you know what? If that be the case, if that be God's will, so let it be done. Right? Can you go back into your mother's womb and become a bacteria again? That would be the miracle. But even God gives you that miracle. Because from dust you started and dust you shall return. How about that, brother? And you know why I say brother, even though you're insulting me? Because even the devil and Jesus are brothers under God's kingdom. It's only that the devil doesn't understand how powerful Jesus can really be. So let me enlighten you. Understand, ladies and gentlemen. This life is a funny life. I'm not here for anger. I'm not here to give in to your provoking words. I'm not here for that. There have been idiots throughout creation. You know what there hasn't always been? Logical solutions and cooperation. That's what there hasn't always been. Right? So people who want some logical solutions, some real results, some cooperation without blaming everybody else because some people choose to be irresponsible, right? This is the problem, right? We need to stop blaming and start precisely locating the areas that are affecting us, cooperate, work together, and get it right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I pray that all of you have a wonderful evening, right? In the meantime, I've still got tons and tons of other work to do. If there's anybody out there that wants to call anybody names, wants to call me the names, attack me, man. Throw all that burden on me. I'm going to take all of that negativity. I live next to the river, and I'm going to soak it in the river. Right? And when you want to talk something good, I'm going to take the good stuff that you say, separate it from the negativity, and I'm going to lift up that good for you so that the world can see the good part of you. Right? Because we are so busy trying to make each other look bad that we all end up living bad. It's about time it stopped. That's all I'm saying. And there's only one real way to stop it. You need to be real, you need to be positive, you need to be functional, and you need to be consistent about it. So I hope my government takes my recommendations and finds those choke points that are causing the backups and the water to stagnate. Put a consistent 24-hour maintenance crew in place for those problem areas and monitor them. Because an attack might be something as simple as 10 residents in the area who don't like the government and decide each of them are going to go and throw some trash bags in one of these major drains where nobody's watching, and they could do that systematically and hide. Put cameras up. Monitor those choke points. Find the culprits. Because those people are affecting an entire city, and by way of a city, an entire nation. They're using it to cause problems, to make us argue, to make us fight. And one of the fastest ways they could do that is by hurting the poor people in certain other areas, and I think it's wrong. Because somebody's trying to sabotage your efforts. So I ain't got time if it's the government doing good, or if it's Muhammad doing good, or if it's Greater doing good. If they're doing good, I'm going to try to keep that good flowing. And if people are doing bad, it's our jobs, the citizens. Listen, let's find the areas that have these issues, and let's just start correcting them and putting consistent systems in place. Muhammad Amal Khan, Jesus can't help you because he is not God. Well, I never said Jesus was my God, right? So I don't know. I said Jehovah is my God, right? Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Now, Muhammad, Jesus can't help you because Jesus may not want to help you, right? I've read stories of Jesus casting out wicked spirits. And just as Jesus casted out wicked spirits, my brother, the same way he put the swine, take the swine out to the madman and make it jump off into the river, I'm blocking you. How dare you come here with negativity? Y'all ain't see I just exorcised the demon. I just exorcised the demon live on Facebook with a karate swipe. Listen, don't let these people get to you. Right? Don't let these people's foolish words antagonize or provoke you into anger. Because they're wicked. That person there is very similar to whoever's throwing garbage and choking up the drainage lines. We need to be consistent about how we address individuals like that. Because those are the sabotaging individuals. I'm speaking sense. My man trying to attack me. I'm cleaning the drain and he's throwing more garbage in the drain. Who really is to be blamed for blocking up the drain? The guy who's consistently cleaning it, or the one who keeps trying to throw shit in it? He has identified himself to the public. Funny thing, you know. Funny thing. Yeah, Francis. The man pick and fight. Well, I'm not here for fight. Jesus said, treat your brother, even your enemy, with love. Love, respect, discipline, they're all tied in. Forgiveness, understanding, they're all tied in. And I can understand that he doesn't have enough sense, so I forgive him for his stupidity, and I shall, exempt him from this platform until he changes his ways, because he can be born again, or he can be resurrected. Right? It's not up to me to say, just letting you know, because I'm not the judge. I got to judge myself. I got to be self-aware. Right? The whole thing is that we're so busy wanting to blame everybody else that, it's an issue. It's a big issue. Dave, what you trying to cover or expose? I'm not trying to cover or expose anything. I'm just kind of speaking the facts. And the facts is, we got some flooding from scattered showers this morning, and that means that somebody's dropping the ball somewhere down the line, either with drainage or irrigation issues. Find the choke points, clean it up, keep it consistently clean, and keep things moving. Right? Yeah. So, what you doing here? Dave, Davina, Sugnan? You're here for the date? It's a coffee date. Right? Yeah. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if we're Guyanese, please learn to read and write properly, so when we go and we're phrasing comments, they don't sound so goddamn hostile. People always making comments seem hostile. And that's bad. Because I see some people putting some comments up like them is the, like you got to be... What happened to diplomacy? What happened to kindness? What happened to respect? Then nonsense we do, and then we do nonsense, and then after doing the nonsense, we expect the world, to treat us like we're emperors and stuff. So, be very mindful how you post. Sometimes you don't mean nothing bad by it. And I'll tell you, sometimes you definitely don't mean nothing bad by it. And I've seen this many, many times. It's just that a lot of Guyanese are fucking illiterate. And it should be illegal for some of us to have social media. I'll tell you that right now. Just with the criminal sentence structures that I see, I'm appalled. And I'll tell you, they have spell check and AI, and they still manage to mess it up, right? Like, these are some people don't want to hear that, but that's the hilarious, sad, pathetic, miserable, honest truth. We do this bad, right? And I try to figure out how we even run our own country sometimes. When I'm just grateful for the functional Guyanese that exist. You guys like me, we got a load to carry, man. Like, whoa. Right? But that's how I know God exists, because each of us wake up every morning. And we take that and we go out there and we still see the positive. Right? And that's when you know God is with you. That despite whatever happening, you still see the positive. Everybody's crying, complaining. You still see a solution. Everybody's fighting. You still seeing a way to make peace. That's when you know God is with you. That's when you know. Maybe the opposition don't have manner, just like some. You know what? I'll tell you this. All of them politicians who claiming you love Guyana, do me a favor, please put on your long boots, get some rakes, and come out there with me, and let's go and let's find these choke points. If I get the layout of the NDIA drainage model, then I can show you where some of the outlets is. I'm pretty sure you've got some professional engineers who already know where these choke points are, right? So maybe, a 1 hour discussion, a little bit of authority, a little bit of money you got to spend, a little mobilization and getting people in the right place, and popping off over there, and boom, the problem fixed. So for all the politicians out there, if you guys really love Guyana, just put on your rain boots and get out there. Put on your rain boots and get out there. Right? You can't be locked up in offices counting money all day because of budget and talking about budget, and the street flooding, and you need to, yeah. And I know it's not your fault. It's not the president's fault. It's probably, whoever's in charge of NDIA, and mayor, city council, and all other people that got drainage-related stuff. Responsibility falls on you, technically. Right? So, just gonna work along with that. Not here to trying to dish you, but trust me, I'm pretty sure all them people who got water in their house today are really, really upset. Right? So help them out. Right? In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to go. I've got a lot of work to do still. And I'm actually going on to night shift at the community. Now that we have certain things going on, we can run work 24 hours a day. So y'all take care. Consistency, guys. It wins the race. Bye-bye.